It's been a while that we've had a phone-in session, so I'm going to open the line tonight. But before I do that, let me quickly add this because it's going to be like a conversation tonight, okay? You see, people can make efforts in trying to provide solution to Nigeria problem. But if you take your time to study it very well, the problem there is foundational. You cannot restructure a non-existing structure. That's the problem. And that is why the problem of Nigeria seems to defy all solution. As smart as Nigerians claim to be, as well-traveled, as exposed and all of that as we love to claim to be. But there is one thing that is fundamentally wrong, and that is the foundation of the country that many of you are trying to salvage. You cannot save Nigeria. See, the most you can do, the most anyone can do, whoever is trying to keep Nigeria together, the most you can do is to elongate the suffering of the people trapped under the name Nigeria. But approach that will be taken into breaking up of Nigeria is in different phases. It requires everyone's contribution. That's one irony about it. To break up Nigeria, you have to need everyone involved, and that is why I give kudos and I appreciate people who are standing up every now and then, here and there, to challenge the status quo, to challenge the madness that they have told you to accept, as if to say it is, that's it, you are doomed, nothing can be done, you are Nigerians and that's it. That's how we are going to be forever. There are those who have accepted that. Okay. To them, they prefer that we should pray. There are some who believe that we should pray to God to help us. There are those who believe that, no, let's change those who are running Nigeria or who are ruling the country. We know them. But they are so powerful, so connected, so rooted that even your own uncle that you never thought is involved, by the time you begin to dig, you will find out that your uncle, your aunties, your own blood and a few other people that you never know are involved in the project Nigeria to keep all of us that trapped. So that is why I have to continue to appreciate. Sorry. I had to kick that off. However, I think that's fixed. So that's why I have to continue to appreciate the effort of those who are speaking up. You don't understand what they are doing. What they are doing is to keep reminding those who believe that they have conquered Nigeria and all of you, that whatever they want, their wish will always be your command. Those standing up, challenging them, telling them that we will fight this, we'll do this, we'll do that, are the people you should be worshipping in every way, because they are those that are standing up to tell your criminal leaders, either PDP or APC, that they might feel powerful, they might feel like they've won or they've conquered, and they can continue to transit by transferring the reign and the whatever to their own children. Those standing up, Sowore, who wants all of you to reject what they have foisted on you, something they have one way or the other, after you twinking you into taking that up and accepting it in 2015. Now that you are trapped, they are telling you that there is nothing you can do. So the likes of Sowore believe that if you have liberty in you, if you believe that you are a freeborn, you shouldn't accept a life forced on you, something that you all condemned in 2015. At least those of you who are Buhari Deans, Buhari Diderins, the Buhari Denotus, and your uncles and aunties over there. These were things you rejected in 2015. You rejected corruption. You rejected the state-sponsored terrorism. You said you rejected the insecurity. And at the same time, you want to stop police brutality. You want constitutional democracy. They gave you all those lies. You want a safe country, employment, things that actually will make you proud Nigerian. There were some of you who were so convinced then in 2015 that the moment Bukwari and his APC, Egbekegbe, the moment they gain power, automatically the problem of Nigeria will disappear. Now, here you are. Instead of the problems to disappear, the problem has sort of now escalated. It has escalated, but what has really changed is that you can no longer speak up. Now, Sowore says, let us destroy this. Some of you are pointing fingers. No, we want Biafra. Sowore should go and fight for Oduduwa Republic. What you don't understand is this. I'm going to tell you tonight. You see what Biafrans are doing? Agitation, you are saying so. It's called, what do you call it? It's called his own revolution on the side. Every time you see Biafrans in their large thousands of numbers everywhere, either doing a meeting, despite the state, the Nigerian proscription of them as a terrorist organization, the Boko Haram, a terrorist government, proscribing those who are protesting to leave Nigeria as terrorists. Now, when you see Biafrans, whether anywhere in Nigeria, outside Nigeria, in their large numbers, showing and raising awareness about their agitation, do you know what they are doing is actually called protest? To others, they call it rally. You can call it protest. You can call it awareness. But whenever people come together to raise awareness about something so important, like we don't want this, we want this, in large numbers, continuously, is a protest. So whether you call it a revolution, whether you call it a secessionist, what do you call it, or a breakaway campaign, it is a protest. Every time you listen to Nnamdi Kanu live, everywhere, complaining, lamenting, and at the same time educating many of you about what they have forced on you, he is protesting. So when you see Sowore asking you to say, let us come out, it is actually the same thing Biafrans are doing. Coming out every now and then, defying all odds, despite the intimidation, the harassment, the arrest, and the killings of their members. They didn't stop. That is a protest. You may not see it as that, but what? Fine. You can call it what you want to call it. When they call for revolution, what they were calling out for is that if you know that you are not a terrorist or a terror apologist, right? Even if you voted for Boko Haram, even if you are an APC member, remember you condemned looting, you condemn impunity, you condemn this paddy business, you condemn killings of Boko Haram. Before now, you never had Fulani herdsmen and terrorists killing you. Now you have them in large numbers, killing thousands of people. Look at Southern Kaduna. You condemn all those. In fact, you wanted to see the end of that. That was why you brought in lifeless Boko Haram. So if you are not a supporter of terrorism, if you are not a thief or a looter apology yourself, then you shouldn't keep quiet. You see, they told you back then, they said 87 naira per liter was wrong. You agreed with them. They told you that having large numbers of you unemployed is actually so bad. You believed them. They promised to give you 3 million jobs every year. They promised to end the same Boko Haram and end terrorism in Nigeria in 3 months. You believed them. Now, let's agree that you believe all of that. They told you that there will never be any foreign medical trip for any public officials if they gain power. You believed them. Remember, they also told you again that whoever looted, even if the person is a member of APC, the person will be prosecuted and jailed. You believed them. Remember, they told you that borrowing to fund luxury life of politicians was detrimental to your own development as a people. It, in fact, is a corruption. You believed them. That is why you supported them, didn't you? They also told you then that exchanging a dollar for 200 naira was actually the most disgraceful thing that ever happened to naira. You believed them. They told you that paying subsidy on petroleum, the same crude oil you have in Nigeria in abundance, paying subsidy in trillions of naira for the same thing, in fact, was a corruption. They needed to stop it. And they were going to build the refineries that will begin to refine your crude oil in Nigeria, and you will get them cheaper. You believed them, remember? Now, today, all these things I listed, they told you then that in a democracy, you must have free speech. Jonathan was becoming a dictator. Remember? That's what they told you. He was becoming a dictator, and in order to stop him and ensure constitutional democracy, including the Jaga bandits, the Jagaweri of Lagos. Remember, before 2015, Boko Haram, from time immemorial, he's done it again and again and again, right, to become the president of Nigeria. He did it 3 times, and the 3 times he got stopped by his gang of other thieves in PDP. But he kept coming back with 12 million votes, 12 million votes. These 12 million, Niger Republic, Mali, Sudan, Chad, Libya, all these Cameroonian Fulani terrorists vote, 12 million since 2003. They couldn't make him president until he met Jaga bandits, the Jagaweri, that told we, my people, the Yoruba people, that we were in fact shortchanged in the project Nigeria. Therefore, we needed to re-strategize. And he used his own party, Action Congress of Nigeria, ACN, join it with a terrorist party called CPC of Boko Haram. Then they mobilized other money moguls, thieves, criminals, career thieves in PDP, led by Atiku, Saraki, Kwakwanso, Dogara, and many, many others, including Dino comedian Melaye. They joined and they called themselves the new PDP. They formed a new party that finally gave Boko Haram the needed 3 million votes to cross over and become today's terrorist government they have in Nigeria. That is the story. In a nutshell, the story of how they lied to you. The killings continue. Now you have kidnapping. Miyetti Allah is now a ministry in Nigeria. Now, in fact, they even created a ministry of humanitarian affairs, ministry of your own humanitarian affairs. The ministry that refused to rehabilitate, to accommodate, to retrain, and then to reintegrate the Boko Haram victim. The same ministry that has spent over 500 billion naira in just a year, just because they were paying 11 million household a sum of 5,000 naira every month for a whole year. Shadia, the girlfriend of Boko Haram, said she spent over 500 billion naira feeding poor people in Nigeria. Then Corona came unannounced. Instead of them to feel sorry, instead of them to feel remorseful, instead of them to change, they decided to turn it to Koro fraud. Today, billions of naira has been expended on the fight against COVID-19, coronavirus in Nigeria. But guess what? Among the money they spent 500 million in 2 months to feed school children at home. The school children who are now at home due to COVID-19 are being fed by audio, and they have already spent 500 million on that. Some of you, they locked down to stay at home for months now. No, nothing. But they said they have already spent over 600 billion naira. They said there is no single person that can claim not to have received the 20,000 naira palliative. Some of you are on Facebook. Some of you are crying over N-Power. They haven't paid you your N-Power. but they have made sure that the same ministry led by Shadia is paying 20,000 naira to the repentant Boko Haram fighters. So Buhari didn't end Boko Haram in 5 years. He didn't. Rather, it has now escalated. More people are now dead. More people are now living in IDP camp, refugees in their own country. While those that came from Niger, Libya, Chad, Sudan, Mali, Niger Republic, Cameroon, and other West African countries, as we have been told, where Fulanis were and were never wanted, they are now back in Nigeria. Guess what? They are getting they are getting a repentance allowance. All they need to do is kill Nigerians, prove that you have killed many. Once you are caught, you sign up and repent, and you get paid 20,000 naira every month for life. The victims of Boko Haram are currently lying down and wasting away, dying, neglected in different refugee camps in the north right now. People of Southern Kaduna are crying every day, everywhere, campaigning, and at the end of the day, protesting today. But nobody is listening to them. Instead of Boko Haram to listen to them, they are sending military, sending police after them today. They injured them, brutalized them, and eventually dispersed them. Nobody listened to them. So Sowore said, if you are not an enabler, don't wait till you become a victim. Don't wait until you die in regret. Stop living in denial. Yes, you want to break up Nigeria? Nigeria will break up last, whether they want it or not. Last, now civil war will happen. It's not because anybody wanted it. It is because, like what is going on in Kaduna right now, the people of Kaduna are not cowards. The people of Southern Kaduna are not lazy. The people of Southern Kaduna are not cowards. I'm repeating it. They are not cowards. You just need to know what is going on. All of you. The government of Boko Haram, they disarmed the people of Southern Kaduna before the invasion of this killing, before this killing started. In 2015, when they came to power, they started the operation. They started at first asking people of Southern Kaduna to hand over their weapon. Okay? And they will be rewarded. Some people handed over their weapon. Many didn't. Then, the military in Nigeria, led by Buratai the Butcher, they mobilized and they started the house-to-house search in Kaduna. This started way back in 2015, the moment they took over power. This is the story they didn't tell you. Southern Kaduna people have nothing to fight with. If you go into any Southern Kaduna homes now, right? If you find a knife, then it will be a pocket knife to cut something. They are not allowed to keep weapon. They are not allowed to what? To defend themselves. And in fact, their royal father, speaking up for them, he was invited to Kaduna, the state capital. You know what happened to him? They called him to Kaduna to discuss the killing. After they disarmed them, then the killing started. The Fulani started walking in. They started ransacking the villages. They have already ransacked over 1,000 villages in in Southern Kaduna alone. If there is anywhere in Southern Kaduna, any local government in Southern Kaduna that is yet to be attacked, then probably they've had 1 or 2 villages under attack already in record. So they disarmed them. They now moved the soldiers in who were searching house to house. If they found any weapon in your house, they will confiscate it, then arrest the young person in that house. There are thousands of people who are currently languishing in so many secret prisons, secret cells right now. People don't know where they are. They were kidnapped by the Nigerian military. This is the story they won't tell you. You will never find that anywhere. But that is why Southern Kaduna people cannot defend themselves. Are you with me? So today, they said it was a farmers' herders clash. But this is what happened. Every day, they will send a warning. They will say, we are coming to kill your people today. Right? We are coming tonight. Whatever you like, go and do. We are coming. There were supposed to be curfew, but there's no curfew. The Fulani herdsmen will move in. They will kill and kill people in the houses, in the villages, and then move back again for hours. So the moment the people start to gather, probably to try to see whatever they can do and all that, the military will move in and they will begin to arrest every young people they see in those spaces. That is the story going on in Southern Kaduna. So their king, who was speaking for them, was their paramount ruler, was invited to Kaduna state capital to come on the invitation of the governor, on the invitation of discussing security issue. On his way back to his Adara in Southern Kaduna, you know what they did to him? The Fulani herdsmen, they stopped him because the government is sponsoring them. It's not hard to tell. The Fulani herdsmen stopped him on his way close to his own kingdom. They kidnapped him, kidnapped his wife, kidnapped everyone with him. They killed his driver. Few days later, they found his body somewhere, dumped somewhere, butchered beyond recognition. Since then, all the royal fathers, all the village chiefs, heads, they dare not speak to the media, or they dare not come out publicly to speak up against the killing. So that is what is going on in Southern Kaduna. They disarm them. They cannot fight. They cannot defend themselves. If they try anything, many of their youths are languishing in prisons, unknown locations across the country right now. Now, this is what will eventually break up Nigeria. When they get so confident that they have succeeded in so many areas, because in Southern Kaduna now, there are so many Southern Kaduna villages that people in those villages have been sent away. The villages have been taken over by Fulani herdsmen. They are now living there. They are now the settlers. They are now renaming some of the villages. Same thing is happening in Borno, where other Fulani herdsmen, as well as Boko Haram terrorists, have taken over so many local governments. In Borno state today, out of about 32 local governments they have, the only functioning local government they have right now is the state capital, the Maiduguri. All the local government chairmen, all the elected councillors, all the ministry and the rest of them from all the local governments, they are now operating from Maiduguri, even though they are collecting allocation for those areas. You know why? Those who are left in those villages who can't move to Maiduguri, many of them are paying tax to Boko Haram in those villages right now. Now, this is why I said Nigeria is going to break up. Whether you are a Boko, whether you are a Buharidin or a Buharididini, whether you are a PDP articulator or articulated moron, whatever you want to defend, whether you are a one Nigeria merchant, as you must have want to claim, fine. Nigeria will break up, and this is what will break Nigeria up. The whole country, as it stands now, seems to feel like what is going on in Southern Kaduna is normal, because many of those states in Nigeria right now are suffering the same thing that people in Southern Kaduna are suffering from. Internal insecurity, where villages are being ransacked, people are being killed on their way to farms, people are being kidnapped on their way on their journey through public buses or public transportation right now across the country. People are paying millions of naira to bail themselves out of the kidnappers' den right now all over the country. Now, the one that will eventually lead to the civil war is that this insecurity will spread, as we have been warned that ISIS, Al-Qaeda are coming. What they didn't tell you is that they are already in Nigeria. ISWAP has pledged allegiance to ISIS. Shekau of Boko Haram has pledged allegiance to Al-Qaeda before the death of Alaji, what's that one's name? The one that bombed as Osama bin Laden. Sorry, I have so many names going on in my head there, right? So, Al-Qaeda, there is a terrorist group in Nigeria, Boko Haram, that has pledged its allegiance to Al-Qaeda a long time ago. So, Al-Qaeda operation is what Boko Haram is doing in Nigeria. ISIS, the ISWAP, the breakaway part of Boko Haram, ISWAP, has pledged their own allegiance to ISIS in Syria. So, ISIS is gone in those places. Back now in Africa, Nigeria is now the hotbed where all the terror organizations all over the world are now regrouping. Because all over the world right now, it is only in Nigeria that terrorists have safe haven. Only in Nigeria, all over the world. There is no other place where any country is graduating terrorists or rehabilitating terrorists, even though terrorists are still killing the military in that same country. There is no country in the world offering amnesty to terrorists, only in Nigeria. So they are relocating. But with the porous border you have, with the what do you call it? With the deceit of the criminals, the criminal politicians you have, they will watch same way those who are from Kaduna. Do you think Kaduna doesn't have senators? Southern Kaduna, do you think they don't have senators? They don't have politicians who are elected to represent them there. Why are they not speaking up? Because if they speak up the truth, right, they will lose out. They don't want to lose out. They will watch their people get killed repeatedly. Even though when election is coming, they will still use that killing to appeal to the people to return them as their leaders. Do you get that logic? They are into it all together. So what will happen is that when the killing begins, when they begin killing people in Lagos, where you begin seeing, hearing the story of 500 people kidnapped in 2 days, 39 people killed in 24 hours, 130 people killed in Ibadan, 300 people killed in Ondo, Fulani herdsmen attack Abeokuta, 400 people killed. When you begin to hear that story, people will want to defend themselves. I'm a Yoruba man, okay? We will want to defend ourselves. At that point, we will no longer care about our politicians, right? We will form our own defense. We will defend everything. Now, that is where problem will now come in. So if they think they've got away with it in Kaduna, they've gotten away with it in Borno, they've done it in Enugu, they've done it in Ebonyi, they've done it in so many places where they have forced the hand of the criminal politicians in those places to agree to their demand and terms. Now, in Yoruba land, what will happen is this. People are going to defend themselves eventually. It won't matter whether they are Yoruba, whether they are PDP, APC, Christian, or Muslim. The day that they begin to kill 100 or kill any more, like they are currently doing in Southern Kaduna, people will want to revolt. Now, if the Nigerian army, with what they are doing in Southern Kaduna now, disarming the people from defending themselves, if they now try that in Yoruba land and try to disarm the people and begin to arrest the young people, that is where the civil war will begin. By then, the politicians in Nigeria, in Yoruba land, whether APC or PDP, as influential, as powerful as they claim, they will no longer be able to contain the problem. And that is why, if you are smart now, you will not wait until they begin to kill you. Until it gets to this, the Biafrans are ready. I can tell you that. If anything like that happens in their land, let me be honest with you, oh dear, the war may start before we can even plan for it. It will start. But what I'm calling your attention on is this, because it is going to happen. If you are waiting for it to happen, no problem, okay? It is going to happen. If things continue the way it is, it will happen. Then you will come back to what I'm saying today. That Mayegun said, not because it is not happening yet, do not deceive yourself and say it will never happen in Yoruba land. Never, never. And don't ever say it will never happen in Biafra land. Never, never. It means you are just living in denial, right? The news is out there. We are seeing the attacks in Enugu. We are seeing the attacks in villages in Ebonyi. We are seeing attacks in villages in Anambra. We are seeing attacks in villages in Abia. We are seeing attacks in villages in Abeokuta, in Ogun State. We are seeing attacks in villages surrounding Ondo State. We have seen repeated attacks in villages in Ekiti. We have seen repeated attacks in villages in Oyo State. We have seen endless attacks, kidnapping of Fulani herdsmen of our Yoruba brothers and sisters in Osun State. So do not ever say it will never happen in Yoruba land. What has not happened yet is to hear the news that Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Fulani herdsmen or some gunmen attacked travelers. They have kidnapped 500 people. That is what is yet to happen. But are they kidnapping people on our highway right now in Yoruba land? 100% yes. Are they killing people on our highway right now in Yoruba land? The answer is 100% yes. They even killed the daughter of a prominent Yoruba leader, Pa Fashoranti. Do you remember her? She was killed by those they called the Fulani Asmen. Eventually, they've arrested them. Oh, they were Asmen, true. But when Tifnumbu, Jaga bandits, the Jagawiri of Lagos, went to Ondo to go and commiserate with Fashoranti family, do you know the question the drug addict asked? He said, "Where are the cows? Where are the cows?" That's what he asked. That is what many of the politicians will be asking when they begin to kill you too. They will be asking, are you sure they are Fulanis? Are you sure they are not your brothers and this and that? Once they begin to push that narrative, some of you thunder heads in Yoruba land, we agree with them and say, hey, it may not be Fulanis, but guess what? Many people who never thought they are going to be slaughtered in their sleeps, their villages are going to be ransacked or killed, and then they will never go back to their land that they had before 2015. Many of them are dead now. Some of them, many of them are living in IDP camp, asking and begging for a living. The house, the family, the land, the everything they had before 2015, they have lost everything. They are now living as refugees in the same country. There is no war. You are not fighting war. They say, hey, my friend, when you say, let us break up Nigeria, you are trying to start a war. You are not fighting war, but you have refugees in Nigeria. They are Nigerians. Initially, those that are killing them, they said they were from Libya, they were from Sudan, they were from Chad, they were from Mali, Cameroon, Niger Republic, until they started asking you to give them land or you lose your lives. And they are now your brothers and sisters. Those that killed people are being rewarded. Those that they killed are dead. As it is, those who are not dead are now walking corpses. They are dead walking people right now. Imagine living as a refugee in your own country, and your government is saying anybody asking for the breakup of Nigeria is asking for war. It wants to put poor people in this and that. Look at your life. Look at you. You will find yourself in refugee camp soon. You see that land? It is our land. Oduduwa land. Olodo. You will not be able to go back there and claim Oduduwa. You will become refugee in another man's land, in the same country. And the politician will keep telling you, it is not that bad. We are doing our best. We are going to stop them. And when you try to fight back, they will then arrest you. You will be fighting two people. That is why I said, it is better now. Do not waste your energy in saving Nigeria. Use your energy in educating those who are still alive now. Right? Do not join them in saving Nigeria. Look at PDP. Let's even say Showore didn't score 1 million votes. Therefore, we shouldn't expect 1 million people to come out, at least as a stakeholder in Nigeria. You see, the reason why some of you have been conscripted into that state of abject, non-entity, so to say, is this. They have already divided Nigeria into two. We have the citizens, we have the subjects. The citizens are those who have rights as Nigerians. Millions of you are just subjects. You are just subjects. And when you see the citizen, exercise their rights, what you do is what? You will complain, you will lament, and you will want God to help you. Right? That's what they have done. Now, whether you are a Buharidin, a Buhari Didiri, a Buhari Dinotu, or a Buhari Dijatu, a Buhari Shuku, Ngozi Hari, Nneka Hari, Nnamdi Hari, or maybe you are just a sophisticated moron, an obedient fool, an humbled slave, or maybe yours is an uncle abroad, auntie London, sister Yankee, or sister New York, daddy Chicago. All those wasted their generation who are now abroad that will never come back to Nigeria to come and enjoy the beautiful life that Buhari and his APC Egbekegbe brought upon you. So the Mumu Madus, the Bele lecturers, and the Mumu lecturers Or maybe yourself now to, born to suffer head, a social media bandit, or Facebook adsman, or adsman, now you be. Or maybe you are from Lagos, the Lagos Abobakus, the all-risers, the crumb chasers, the ass lickers. Or maybe yours are actually the Oshun version of Abobakus, the Oshun Alimajiris. Now, ask yourself this. Since they have been killing in Southern Kaduna, have you seen anybody who came out to say, or maybe since they have been killing in Zamfara, or killing in Yobe, or Adamawa, or this new terrorist group in Sokoto, or let's even say Taraba, and all those places where they have been killing and killing and killing, and you have been reading about them, ask yourself this. Do you want to be a victim first before you can actually stand up and possibly speak up? Well, it is your choice, and you have every right to it. Now, PDP, they got how many millions of votes? 12 million. So let's even leave the Buhari Deans and the Buhari Didiris. We know their own with Buhari Titis, which is this new. It's not new. It is actually the diagnosis for their mental disorder, the Buhari Titis. So when you are suffering that, you don't need your brain. It's of no use. All right. Let's leave the Buhari Deans and the Buhari Didiris. You, sister, how are you? How is everything? How is the election going? Now PDP, Abi. PDP, Abi. God bless you. How about you? Bros from Ondo? How's it going to be? APC. Okay, yeah, okay. Let's say PDP. You've got 12 million or more votes in 2015. Today, your leaders who said they could make Nigeria better than what Boko Haram is doing right now. You know what? When they have tried to help you and they realize that you seems to be unhelpable, if there's anything like that. Now they are watching you. Watch Boko Haram deal with you economically, security-wise, when the Boko Haram and the rest of them are killing you. Even in your defense, that's the mandate that they couldn't keep for you to give you the life they promised you. At least, can't they stand up for you? Are you not Nigerians? Are you not supposed to be Nigerians? The Atikus, the Sarakis, the Kwakwansos, the Peter Obis, and all those criminal leaders you call your leaders in PDP. At least, because all of you are so comfortable. Is it Sowore that brought him? Is Sowore, is all of you who brought Buhari that should deal with him? You are just being clever by half. You may not have anybody to tell you this, but I am telling you. You may not even have thought about it. They are your leaders. They are watching you go through this. When the Boko Haram rigged himself back in, they were supposed to be the upstanding and outstanding opposition to him in your defense, if their intention was actually to make your life better. But they didn't have the intention. It was election. It was a campaign. Your life would have been ruined anyway, same way they told you it could be better in 2015. Sowore brought him. Sowore should go and campaign and remove him, you dumbo. But when Atiku gave him 6 billion for campaign, you were deaf and dumb, Abi. And he also gave him his private jet for campaign. The one that you saw Boko Haram laughing like an imported Almajiri from Sudan. It would be terrorist president of your country inside the Atiku private jet. You were dumb and blind then. It wasn't what brought him to power. When Saraki said he financed the election of Boko Haram in the entire North Central and Southwest, except Lagos, you were not deaf and dumb. You were just an hypocrite. So they invested money. They invested propaganda. They did all of that to bring Boko Haram to power. In 2019, they said they will help you kick him away if you allow them to do it. Now, Boko Haram must do them out. Were they not supposed to be standing up for you? Were the 12 million of you who voted for Atiku, were you not supposed to be represented and spoken up for? right now. Shouldn't you be staging your own protest if you are not comfortable with the suffering? You are not comfortable, but you are born to suffer. You love to suffer in silence. Then you pretend to point fingers and say, now you cause them, now you cause make me the suffer. God will punish you until you forgive, until you apologize. You are just a stupid person, my brothers and sisters. No apology. You are just a stupid person. You gave your mandate to some people, 12 million of you. Those people invested their money to give Boko Haram the mandate that is using to deal with all of you today, including them too. Now they are, because they don't care, they don't really care about you. They just go back. By 2022, they will come out again and say, okay, we are going to spend 500 billion. We are going to kick APC out. We are going to save Nigeria. You idiots. We also can go up the same way you are doing in Edo now, the same way you are doing in Ondo. You begin. PDP is better. We know what we are saying. Another party cannot win. You are Latinujets. You hungry morons. Gullible idiots. And that's what you do. Now you are suffering through all of this. Oh, Atiku in 2014, Atiku and the rest of them who were backing Boko Haram at the time allowed and then backed Boko Haram, Oyegun, Amechi, El Rufaya of Kaduna, and the rest of them to stage a protest on behalf of, they said they were staging the protest on behalf of Nigerians to put pressure on Jonathan's government. What has PDP done to put pressure on your Boko Haram? If you are not, I mean, if you are smart enough, it's a business venture, just business. A business venture. By 2019, they will expect you to split again and start fighting yourselves. Oh, Atiku, you already, by the way, you are already splitted. So I'm just trying to like sort of glamorize you a bit. You are already splitted. But even if you are going to still vote for PDP, no be person where they are alive, they vote for PDP. Where is Atiku? Where is Sarki? Where is Kwakwanso? Where is Edino? Where are these people? They are in Edo, probably to campaign for Obaseki. Some of them will be in Undo to campaign for their own campaign team. They will be asking you to vote for those people again. What is going on or affecting you is none of their business. They will tell you until you make us do it, until you give us the power. No, we cannot help you. But in 2014, in order to mount serious opposition pressure on Boko Haram, I mean on Jolantan, Boko Haram and his gang, they mobilized they staged a campaign, a protest. Do you think if PDP leaders call for national protest, they won't get their members all over the country to come out? Shouldn't they do that? And they can't do it. It was Sowore that brought him to power. You are just a stupid person. I don't know the other way to explain it to you. Okay, I know how you feel, but in a way, it is not an abuse. Okay, being a stupid person is in fact, a talent. You're just talented. I mean, you are stupidly talented. So, which means you are a talented fool. People who invested billions, who use all their machineries, who use all their resources to bring a terrorist to power, they are turning around to say, we are the one who can help you. Give us the power. And all of you are forming Voltron on social media, telling us to be careful of Nnamdi Kanu. We should be careful of Omoyele Sowore. Two things they are fighting for, and the two things are equal if you are smart enough to know. Nnamdi Kanu knows, and those who are also intelligent in Biafra, they know that all this whole awareness, all this campaign, everything is going to either end up at the table where we will all split it, or it will all end up on the battlefield. And so far, so good with what I have noticed, none of them want to take the battlefield as the first option. They want to raise awareness enough that people will demand for this. And when people want what they wanted, right, the system will be forced to sit down and renegotiate and break the whole thing up. Yes, that is why Nnamdi Kanu is not preaching war. He's not buying weapon now. He's preaching awareness, asking for collaboration, raising awareness across all tribes, because he knows that this will either end up at the negotiation table or it will end up in the battlefield. That's what it's going to be. But those who can, we know those two, what they stand for. Sowore said, let us destroy this system so that the Biafrans, the Oduduwa agitators, the Niger Delta agitators, as they want to be called, as well as every other part of the country, we will have to come together and decide how they want to be ruled, how they want to be governed. And you cannot do that when you have a terrorist in charge, when you have looters, when you have deceitful, manipulative criminals in charge. You will not be able to sit down to negotiate. That is why today, Nnamdi Kanu, after an attempt to kill him, had to leave Nigeria. What does that tell you? If he stays back, the terrorist system will not want to have a word. They will rather want to kill him. That is not a country. Sowore said, let us demand for a good government. And if they can't give you the good government, then get rid of them. You gave them the job. They work for you. It's as simple as that. If they are not going to work for you, then they should go to hell. Right? It's as simple as that. Now, you want your own country, get rid of these criminals first. Without them being away, even if they change from APC to PDP tomorrow, they will still treat you like terrorists. That APC Egbekegbe is calling the activists and agitators today. It's a common sense thing. Yeah, we can do all this on social media. Yeah, and all of that. Awareness, raise awareness, keep educating people, keep enlightening people why they needed to get involved, why everyone needs to be talking about it. The reason why, being apart is far better than being together. And you know one thing, though, let me be honest with you. The PDP supporters, PDP members, they are one Nigeria. Do not let anybody tell you that he's a PDP member and he's also an Oduduwa Republic supporter or a Biafran. Do not. They are only embittered now because PDP is not in power. If PDP get to power tomorrow, right, they will tell you, they will send army, military against, they will send army after Biafran agitators as well. They will do the same thing that APC is doing to you right now. And that's to tell you that it is not just the APC, it is the establishment. There are those who has their investment as Nigeria that will never want you to break it up. And until you destroy that system, you will never have that conversation again. And that is why I support Sowore. If Sowore's movement will destroy the system and allow us to have a conversation about how we want to have a Biafran Republic, how we want to have a Oduduwa Republic, when new generation of new idealist, citizens will discuss their future. Yes, that is why I support Omoyele Sowore. I am supporting Nnamdi Kanu because his own mission is so clear and well defined. Break it up. Give us Biafra. You can do whatever you want to do with Nigeria. It's your business, not our business. Make anybody you want to make president, make them president. But when it comes to this land, it is no longer part of Nigeria. That's what we want. And anyone who will have that conversation with Biafrans, they will be ready to sit with you. And if Omoyele Sowore will be the person that will have that conversation, that is why someone like me will support him. The awareness, the campaign of the Biafran over the years, led by Nnamdi Kanu, has been so rewarding, so massive, that it is so undeniable that even you, that is not a Biafran, you will begin to feel like, if I say this thing will soon happen, no, because it will soon happen. So do you get that now? So is either this end up at the negotiation table where we all decide how we want to be. Those who still want to be part of Nigeria can be part of Nigeria. Those who don't want to be can move away, and we can discuss how we want to do that going forward. Or the way they are strangulating everybody, the way they are using their military to subdue everybody, the way they are arresting everyone that is speaking up, will one day trigger a bigger revolution that will lead to a civil war again in Nigeria. By then, right? Trust me, Biafra will come with ease. Oduduwa Republic will come with ease. Many, many other regions will begin to declare their own independence. Nigeria will become a USSR of old. And many countries will be created out of it. And look at you. Your God cannot save it. I'm saying this to you because I know that your Nigerian God is a fake God. You are so foolish, so stupid that you believe that you can fight for God. But when it comes to you standing up for yourselves, standing up to your own criminal leaders, you want God to come and do that for you. Is that not foolishness? God can fight for himself. You don't fight for God. You should fight for yourselves. And God cannot save Nigeria when that time will come. It is almost near. And everyone can keep trying in saving her. I'm so out now. I'm sorry I got so into that conversation there that I couldn't really take call. But where is PDP? Where are the PDP leaders? Are they not supposed to be at least the face of the people in this absurdity? Are they not supposed to be those who should be mounting real pressure, rallying the whole country? At least all of you who are PDP in the north, who are being killed, PDP in the east, who are being marginalized, the PDP in the west, who are also being, whatever is happening to you, I don't care. But whatever it is, you have leaders. Oh, our leaders. Mayegun, stop abusing our leaders. Show some respect. Your foolish criminal leaders. I don't have respect for them, okay? And I don't have any apology for you. Now, shouldn't they be standing up for all of this? Shouldn't they? It's because they don't give a damn about you. They know that by the time Bokwari finishes, some of you will be too weak to fight. Some of you you won't even stand well anymore. If you manage to come for the election, which they are going to rig anyway, they will give you 200 naira. Go and find something to eat. You will eventually die anyway, right? So shouldn't they be standing up? You, a PDP member, should you not be telling your leaders that, wait. All of us, they complain. Fuel don't high, tax don't rise, unemployment don't increase. More children are now out of school. Insecurity don't escalate. But Atiku will stay in his house in Dubai, in his flat in Dubai, the mansion he bought for himself in Dubai. He will stay. Don't you know that Atiku is there right now doing his own Dubai vacation since the election? Do you know that? So Atiku is there in his house in Dubai and is there tweeting, Nigerians need to unite. Nigerians, we have to come together with love. Nigeria, we are one country. Buhari's government is not doing this. Blah, 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 blah. And you idiots in Nigeria, you'll be retweeting it. Thank you, Jare. Thank you very much, Turaki. Thank you, Atiku. Thank you, my president. You are the one I voted for. You idiots. They were supposed to be there, mounting pressure on Buhari. But because they are all partner in crime, there's no pressure to mount anywhere. They are just waiting for him to finish his own shop by shop. They will bring their agenda in 2023, and you born morons will grab them you grab them yeah. As long as Buhari, anybody is fine. As long as Buhari, the same way they told you that anybody is better, as long as it's not Jonathan. Guys, don't worry. We'll do the phone call tomorrow. I'm going to go now. I will do the phone call tomorrow. I'm sorry. All right. We've expended our hour now, and I'll see you again tomorrow. So, again, I'll leave you with this. If you have any time in you, I know we have genuine agitators, we have fake agitators, we have those who genuinely want to see Oduduwa Republic. And I have to commend this my brother, Yomi Koiki. I know Yomi is a very passionate person about anything he believes in. And I have to respect him for that. He's doing a lot. He's doing greatly, and I must commend him, as well as the awareness they are raising so far. But I've got my reservation about some characters. I've got my reservation about some characters in that Oduduwa Republic campaign right now. But another person I have to acknowledge, which I know for his own person, is AY Citizen. These two guys are doing so well in raising awareness, educating people why Yorubas will do better in Oduduwa Republic. And to all of you others who I can't really mention your name, you know yourselves, you are doing it because of the passion you have. You are doing it for the humanity. You want to break it up to save lives. I commend you. And this week, right, I will reach out to many of you as well to give your work more, more expose, and people will get to know more about what you are doing. But there are those who are doing it for 2023. We have their names. We have their antics. We have their mode of operation, and we even have their chain of recruitment on social media and off the media, of the social media as well. So we know all of that. And then, it's all going to end in tears, unfortunately. But one thing I will appreciate, and I'll continue to appreciate, is that they are raising awareness about the Dua Republic, talking about it. One day, we will form the quorum that will eventually lead to the emergence of Oduduwa Republic. I want to hold that passport of that Oduduwa Republic before I die, and I want my children to have them as well. I've got a long time ahead of me if I'm lucky, but however, as long as I live, I will stand by those who will stand for the equity, justice that everyone deserves. And if Nigeria must be saved, if there's any way to save Nigeria right now, it is to break it up. Okay, because by breaking it up, you are not just saving Nigeria, you are actually saving the people trapped in it, called Nigerians. You have no idea how terrible this is. I wish I could explain it more better. I'll continue, like others, to educate, to enlighten, to expose, to to have conversation around this type of discussion until we make that number, until we do that. So thank you very much for your time this evening. I'm going to see you some other time. Until then, have a wonderful evening. Good night.